Hey guys, I'm Emily Walsh, and in today's video I'm going to be reviewing an anti-vegan channel called Hot for Health. She made a video called How Brian Turner's Femininity is Destroying Sammy Grim. So, Brian Turner's femininity is hurting his girlfriend? So for those of you who do not know who Brian Turner is, he's a fellow YouTuber. He does health and fitness content, and he's a bodybuilder. For those of you who do not know Sammy Grimm, she also is a fellow YouTuber, but she makes mental health issue videos. Please guys, hit the subscribe button now and also tick the bell icon so that you'll be notified of all my upcoming videos. Okay, so I'll warn you now, it's a bunch of bullshit, but it'll be so fun to debunk.
When you think of a druggie, some people I would say think of this. Some people think of this. Some think of this. Some in this community may think of this.
Is that unnatural vegan? How is she a junkie? I know Frilly the Banana Girl says that she's a coffee addict, but it looks like she's just had a vaccine shot. How does a vaccine shot make you a junkie?
Or this. And if we're talking about Sammy, maybe this. But not this. Not a girl that's just trying to get healthy. You know, when she's not out prostituting her body online and all of that.
Prostituting her body? Prostituting is when you accept money for sex. I don't think that's what she does. So from what I can see without paying for it, she does post sexually suggestive photos. That's not the same. And what Sammy decides to do with her own body is up to her.
She is, if you think about it, she's doing veganism because she wants to be healthier. Maybe she does want to be anorexic and skinny.
No! Veganism is for animal rights. We want animal liberation. God, it's so annoying. All these anti-vegans think it's a health diet. It's for animals. How many times do vegans have to explain? It's not about giving up meat. We don't support SeaWorld, horse racing, fur, leather. None of those involve food, does it?
I don't typically think of this when I think of a drug user.
Okay, so for some of you that don't know Sammy Grimm, you're probably thinking like, okay, so is she like a heroin addict? Is she like a pothead? No, Sammy has mental health issues and she takes prescriptive medication. That's not a drug addict to me.
They forget that doctors in America are killing hundreds of thousands of people. And this is the accidental deaths. This is not even included the drugs that are prescribed. And then that downfall sometimes takes years. It just deteriorates the person faster, more rapidly.
I've had since I was literally born out of the womb. My Aunt Melody got it for me when I was a baby. It originally had Mickey Mouse and Minnie, and it's my security blanket. Like, I sleep with it every single night. I need it. And with borderline personality disorder, and if you've experienced trauma, things that you did as children carries with you in your adult life. So I just learned this last year. The reason why I have Blankie and I watch cartoons, and there's certain things that I myself have to have and have to do throughout the day or whatever is because of my trauma, and that is my security. And I just hold on to that, and I will never get rid of Blankie. I love Blankie. I sleep with it every single night, and I'm not ashamed of that because it's just who I am and it's what I do. What's up guys, welcome back to my channel. Sammy Marie here, and I do videos all about mental health here. I have borderline personality disorder, bipolar 2, OCD, and PTSD, and today I'm going to be talking to you guys about my medications and the side effects of my medication.
So as you can see between the first clip and the second, at the first one she looked like a healthy weight. Her voice did not sound shaky, and it's changed drastically, and this is only a few years apart. She has taken antipsychotics now, and we'll get into that. But
I love how this chick is not a doctor, doesn't have a clue about medications, or has any medical qualifications whatsoever. and she is making judgments about someone she has never even met.
She's also been vegan this whole time. So she's been starving herself of cholesterol and...
Cholesterol? Starving herself of cholesterol. Starving herself of cholesterol. So what? Our bodies naturally produce cholesterol, so we don't need to consume it.
Most of the fat-soluble nutrients her body needs. And so her hormones, there's just so many things we can't account for that IBS does not account for.
Oh my God, again, she thinks she's a doctor. What about all the other vegans out there? We don't have these issues. I don't have all these issues with hormones. And before you say, Emily, you're also mentally ill. I was mentally ill long before I became vegan.
With the veganism, because he's doing okay, so he assumes everyone else can be. So when she's not trying to be taken seriously, I guess, she is dressing herself up in clown makeup, and she's on OnlyFans, showing her entire body to strangers for money.
Clown makeup? Why does she care if Sammy wears makeup not to her liking? So personally, I don't really like the fake eyelashes on her, but that's my personal preference. And to say that she doesn't look the way I would like her to look makes her mentally ill, that's just stupid. It's not like she looks like this. Also, it's her body. She has a right to show it off. See, I don't see how it's any of this lady's business what she does as long as it's not hurting anyone.
So, yeah, she has some severe psychological issues. Obviously, she was abused as a child. She doesn't even have to say that.
Obviously, she was abused as a child. She doesn't even have to say that.
Your evidence?
I just know.
You just... No.
The PTSD and the flashbacks and the trauma. This is all in the baby voice, the living in the baby fantasy world. It's usually someone who was severely abused as a child. So when you hear a woman who talks in a tiny baby voice, Britney Spears is a good example of this. It's usually their mental state is stuck back into that time frame.
Bullshit. That's complete bullshit. Again, she isn't a psychologist or a psychiatrist, but if you do a simple Google search, you will see baby talk signals closeness is a method of mirroring to evoke positive emotions and fosters secure attachments with one another, says Dr. Hall. It indicates a desire to nurture your partner and the bond between you two. Okay, so this is just an article on 4 reasons why baby talk is good for couples. So you can have a read through, I'll link it in the description. It says, baby talkers are more securely attached and are happier in their relationships. Pet names may bring couples closer to one another. Baby talking may make us cute and help us elicit the affection we desire. And baby talking makes men seem more loyal, which is an interesting one. So she basically knows Jack.
But I want to take a look at Brian Turner, her boyfriend. Very feminine.
Brian Turner? Feminine? Okay, so he used to have really long hair. Long hair is associated in the West and nowadays as more of a female, women thing. But if you take a look back in history, you'll see in ancient Greece, long male hair was a symbol of wealth and power, while a shaven head was appropriate for a slave. Okay, and I found this photo of Chinese history. I also found this online that Native Americans' hair has special spiritual and cultural significance for tribes, whether worn long, braided, or bound in a knot. Most North American indigenous people see hair as a source of strength and power. Okay, so now he's actually cut his hair short. So does that mean that now he's suddenly manly? You know? And just look at him. Looks pretty manly to me.
Very, well, let's just be honest. A good stand-up masculine man would never go for a girl like this.
Wow. Please explain. I want to hear it.
Now, maybe she wasn't like this to begin with. I don't know. But he does seem to encourage this behavior.
Sounds like a nice, supportive boyfriend.
This babying behavior. Like Janine has shown before, how he'll give her these big stuffed animals and treat her like she's a little baby. And he just plays into it. And yeah, you would call that an enabler, because that's what he's doing. He's enabling this.
Ha! An enabler.
Quagmire, I've got poopies.
An enabler. Because he is letting his girlfriend feel comfortable being herself. Okay, guys, you're not a real man if you don't demand your girlfriend be womanly. Don't make her feel comfortable being herself. No. Demand she grow up and be into knitting, bingo, enroll in a cooking class. Gardening. Gardening can actually be really fun until your plants die. Then it's a nightmare. I hate plants.
And I say a masculine man would never get with a girl like this to begin with, because they wouldn't.
How do you know that? Do you attend some alpha male meetings or something? Some red pill woman circle jerk?
Now, on the other hand, if he's a good man and he doesn't realize this, he falls in love with her because she has many other good qualities, and then he realizes, okay, she's suffered a great deal of trauma and she's got issues because of this. I'm not saying a good man would just up and leave. No, that's not what I'm saying. I'm saying, like, to begin with, most men don't want a severely damaged person.
Wow! How is she damaged? I mean, everyone has flaws and everyone's had bad experiences in life.
And I will never forget, when I was a teenager, one of the last, bad boys I dated, he called me damaged goods.
Oh, it all makes sense to me now. She is projecting. She thinks of herself as a damaged woman, and now she is projecting it onto Sammy. She thinks that as a damaged woman, real men who won't want her, so she is confused why Brian Turner likes a girl like Sammy.
And that stuck with me. I mean, it really did imprint on me. Sorry for all the background noise. I've got roosters behind me. Yeah, but it stuck with me, and I knew from then on I would have to fix myself to find a better caliber of man.
And there you go, projecting her insecurities about being a damaged woman and feeling the need to change so she can find a better partner. That's why she must think there's something wrong with Brian. I think she's so jealous. It's so obvious she wants Brian Turner so bad.
Most men don't want a severely damaged person. She did a video a while back saying something like, if you can't take me at my worst, you don't deserve me at my best. And the best was like hypersexual, this and that. And the worst was hitting you over the head with a frying pan. Well, she didn't say that in those words, but it was something like becoming highly aggressive at the drop of a hat, something like that, because of her mental instabilities, the BPD and all. So, yeah, I say he's a softie. He's become that submissive role. And even if it's not completely her telling him how to act, it's society. He's listening to something other than his own internal compass.
See, now, I think it's the opposite. I think society tells people to run when they think a woman is crazy. Brian probably just has more understanding of Sammy's feelings and needs. Don't think this has anything to do with him being a feminine man.
This is just my opinion, that he should be stepping up in the same way you would do with the child, which is what she acts like. You would explore different diets to find what's best for their mental state.
Look, I understand that diet can affect mental state, but it can't cure it. And the effects are really, really minor. Most of the time, it's thinking patterns that need to be rewired in the brain. As someone that also suffers from mental illness, diet can help with symptoms, but it's not the end-all be-all.
And for their health, overall, you would find the best doctor, the best therapy.
How does she know that she's not getting the best doctor she can afford? This lady is just assuming that she doesn't.
Now I'm on Lamictal, Haldol, Topamax, and Minipress. And Lamictal is a mood stabilizer. Topamax is a mood stabilizer. Haldol is an antipsychotic. And Minipress is for PTSD and nightmares and flashbacks. So those are the medications that I'm on and what they're for. So the side effects, let's just jump on into that. And for me, the side effects for Lamictal is hair loss. It makes me kind of groggy and like numb and tired. And I don't like it, but and it's funny because my doctor had me on 200 milligrams.
Okay, yeah, I must admit that's a lot of meds.
Like a couple months ago, and I stopped taking it, which you should never stop taking your medications, like just stopping cold turkey, but I did. And then I recently just talked to him like a few days ago, and he was like, okay, well, we need to get you back on it. So now I'm back on it, not 200 milligrams, so he's slowly tapering me back up.
With any drug, you weigh the risk-benefit ratio. And a lot of people probably think I'm anti any drug. No, I think they have their place. You just have to decide when that's absolutely pertinent, when there's no other option. Just like with antibiotics, they could save a life, but they could wreck a life as well. You have to be very, very careful with these things. So what they're trying to do is just numb out all of her pain, to block her nightmares, block her flashbacks. So she's in this dumbed down state, and even in that state, her mind was telling her, stop this, stop taking this. And she listened for a brief moment until she went back to this doctor that needs to be fired, in my opinion.
Okay, so I can't say that I fully disagree. I think that some doctors do just jump to the meds too quickly, but again, we don't know Sammy's history, her problems. Is she coping with life? Is she able to function while she gets, therapy? Why are we guessing here? And that's what I don't like about what this lady is saying. If she was talking in general sense about people and psych meds, then yes, I would agree that sometimes it's best not to dull out the pain and to deal with it. But not everyone can do that. Not everyone can function. And we can't speak for a specific person, even if they do put lots of videos online.
And he's trying to get her up back to the same dose she was on. Slowly taper her back up. And I realize doctors are not trained to even think about nutrition, which is just mind-boggling at this point, because it's obviously a piece to a bigger picture of puzzling all of this together. So she's being starved nutritionally, and her and Brian just assume they're on the best diet possible. And on top of that, she's being snuffed out with these medications.
Snuffed out? Jeez, that's a big claim.
Like, you can't think straight. You literally can't even talk like a normal person. You can't speak. I would literally be talking gibberish, and there's a word for it. I can't remember the word, but you literally can't even have a normal conversation.
So there's this side effect of antipsychotics called TD, and this is what this elderly man is talking about. You usually see it in the elderly. It looks like they're kind of chewing on their cheeks, if you've ever seen someone do that. He calls it grimacing. It's where it's kind of like a tick. You see people that have the ticks, and you see she does it just a tad bit in this little clip at the end. I mean, I hope I'm wrong, but you can already see the little glitches and twitches. and her voice and
Okay. So she basically just like drones on and on and on and on from this on about like how doctors are like drugging the public and blah 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 blah. Which I do admit, it does actually happen a lot in America, as I've heard. But we can't really speak for a specific person.
but instead this culture is telling people to just live in a safe space, which is a delusion, so just live in denial. So instead of going from the inside out and getting to the root of the problem, and this is the biggest problem I have with the political left. Some conservatives can be like this, but it's mostly the left. They want to make excuses for the people that are damaged, and then when other people react to that bad behavior, they're the bad guy.
Okay, so everything is the left's fault.
The best thing she can do is taper down off this medicine and start eating some meat and eggs and milk.
Wow, thanks for your professional advice there. Animal products cure mental illness. Where's her proof for all of this? She doesn't have any. Jeez, I wish I could just like make a video, put a bunch of like photos together and just talk over the top of it with a bunch of nonsense and get views. It would certainly beat working hard. No scientific studies backing up any of her claims. Nope, just coming with the first thing that comes to her head.
There's that saying that the crazies are running the asylum, which is basically what's happening. Like the criminals are being told that they are the ones in the right. It's basically a feminine, soft energy that's sort of won out the societal consensus.
A feminine, soft energy that's sort of worn out the societal consensus? Is that what she just said?
A feminine, soft energy that's sort of won out the societal consensus.
How do these people come up with this shit? I think this is proof that some people can live without a brain.
With the thoughts you'd be thinking you could be another Lincoln if you only had a brain.
And the masculine energy, which is usually the logical, more honest and evaluating sort of energy. I don't know where that's at.
Masculine energy.
And the masculine energy, which is usually the logical, more honest and evaluating sort of energy.
Thank God this is over. Well, that was the biggest load of shit I've ever seen. There was no point to any of this. Okay. So let's sum up the entire video, right? Sammy is mentally ill and therefore damaged and needs to work on herself. Brian mustn't be a very masculine man if he is with her. Sammy needs to eat animal products and get off the medication in order to get better, which she provides no research and evidence to back it up. And it's all because of the left. Anti-vegans are some of the dumbest people I've ever seen on the internet. Although they do give us the best content to laugh at. I didn't even need to make this video. I could have just played her content. Okay guys, so if you want to debunk any of this or have your say, please put it down in the comments. And also don't forget to like the video and subscribe and tick the bell icon so that you can see more of my upcoming videos. Also, don't forget to follow me on Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, everything like that. All my social medias will be linked down below. Oh, and including my Patreon, because guys, you've got to support me. You've got to support my awesome debunking skills work. Not that it's very hard, but still, you know. So support me on my Patreon. The links will be in the description. So have a good day.